Hello, welcome to another thrilling Max 9 tutorial. This is tutorial 29. Jitter Effects, number 1, X-fade. Although some would say crossfade, which is really how they got the X in the first place. But let us not prevaricate, let us dive right in. So, we're going to talk about the sort of basic ways that we combine signals in jitter today, and I'm hoping this is going to be a really quick tutorial because we get to use lots of pre-made items. Everybody loves that. So let's go over here, and on the left we have video. Let's click on it and pull out, oh, you know, some of our favorites. Countdown, sure, there's countdown. And let's pull another one out. I know you think I'm going to take chickens, but I'm not. I'm going to take dishes. Because life is all about variety. So there we go. We've got countdown and we have dishes. And we're going to turn the looping on. Whoops. And we're going to lock our patchers and turn the looping on. And demonstrate that absolutely nothing happens except the crossbars moving around while they're playing, because we need to be able to look at them somewhere. So let's unlock our patchers, type the letter J for jitter, and then just type P, and you'll almost certainly get jit P window right here. And you can probably just hit return and you'll have one. So connecting the left-hand outlet of your little movie player thing there, we have the countdown. And now we can just option click on that. Although we could just type J again, and we get to see what's going on here. So we have our two separate videos going on here. And today we want to talk about crossfade, which, as most of you can probably guess, is how you combine those two videos. So let's go ahead and type J and then type X. Once you get the little JIT thing in there, type X. Crossfade. Great. So let's make crossfade a little bigger so we can sort of look at it. And you'll notice that with the crossfade you have, it's a fader, and it combines on the left hand side one matrix, or a video frame if you will, and on the other side matrix number 2. So one thing to avoid, though, is don't just use the output from your little P window. That sometimes actually resizes the video, or I think that it does. I'm not going to say that it actually does, but I think it does. And just go directly from the output. And we are going to come across our first rule here, which is you can put as many patch cords on an outlet as you want, because it's just going to copy whatever's coming out of there and send it through the patch cord. But what you cannot do in video, in jitter, is put two patch cords on the same inlet. That is the whole purpose of X-fade. At the end of these things is like a data fire hose, and it's all about timing. Imagine 4 numbers for every pixel, right? Multiplied by, let's say, you've got your typical window these days, 1,920 times 1,280, is it? I don't even know. That's a big number. Multiply that big number by 4, and that's what's happening 60 times a second. So we really need something to process video together, and that is what jit.xfade is for. So that we can see it down here, let's go ahead and type another J and another P so that we get another jit P window. And we'll make this one a little bigger. This one will be our output window, and the trick, hit the shift key and it'll keep it in scale. So there we go. Now we have, oops, I made it a little big, but we like it. Okay. So you will notice that its default idea is to pass the left-hand video, this video, straight through, because right now jit fade is at 0. If it is changed from 0 to 1, then it puts out entirely the right-hand side. In order to tell it to do that, you want to send the command, the parameter, if you will, xfade. So here we type the letter N, we say prepend, because we want it to send a message with a prefix in front of it, the parameter, which is xfade. Okay, so we're going to send whatever message an xfade. And in order to see this one, we would have to send a message of 1. So I'm going to put 1.0 in one thing here, one message. I'm sorry, I typed M and typed a message. And over here I'm going to type M, I'm going to type 0.0, and we'll just connect them both to xfade. And now we'll see what happens. 0 doesn't do anything because this is already at 0. 1 goes completely to the other side of xfade, and now we see the dishes. So as you can probably guess, if we picked something in between those two positions, let's just say 0.5, and locked our patcher and pushed that, now we have xfade mixing the two videos together quite precisely half and half. Seems like a great thing, and as always, we'll just very quickly think about how we can even do better, which is perhaps it would be nice, it's a crossfade, so we sort of need a tool here, like, for example, a slider. So let's type N, we'll type slider, and there's a nice vertical slider. We're going to make it into a nice horizontal slider, a nice big one, because we're TV personalities. Here, we'll make it match the videos. Ooh, cool. Very professional looking. All right. So whatever this slider is going to output is then going to be prepended by xfade. But we have to be careful about that because we know in the past that some of our sliders put out a number in integers between 0 and 127. That is really not what we need here. What we need, going over to the inspector, is that this thing puts out float output, so we're going to check that box, and we want the range to be 1. It only goes from 0 to 1. There's just nothing else for an xfader to do. So there it is, 1.0. Hey, while we're here, a blue knob color, that is just so boring. Green? I'm going to go with yellow because it has to be bright that we can see it, but we don't want to feel like we're panicking, right? There we go. So I'm going with the knob on color as yellow, and I think that should probably get us there. Let's see how our patcher's working at this moment. I locked it, and now look at that, slowly fading as I get closer and closer to the other side. All dishes, 3/4 dishes, half dishes, and half number countdown, and mostly countdown, and all countdown. Okay, great. Super nice to have a slider, but then that means that you have to be able to reach up here with your mouse and do that. And sometimes you just want to be able to click things and have it crossfade, let's say, right? So further improvements might be, I'm going to just move these numbers up so that we can put in something here that will do just what we want. So we need to be able to ramp that number. And to do that, we're going to type n and we're going to type line. And I could type a 0 or a 1 here, I guess. I'll type a 1 and just see what it does. 1.0. And this next number, the grain, is interesting. That's how finely it's going to move in steps. So if we're going to, let's say, do this in 1 second, so that would be 1,000 milliseconds. We want it to do it in maybe steps of 20 or steps of 10 or something like that, so that it isn't too fine-grained and hogging up computer power, but is nice and smooth. So let's just type in a 10. And so whatever we put in here now, here I'm going to, whoops, I forgot something. Since we want it to do this at 1,000 milliseconds, we need to send this number, would be our target number, along with a second number that says, well, how long will it take? So we're going to get a new object here and say append 1,000. And so now we'll put our 1. Let's see if we can do this all at once. I'm going to just shift and highlight all the cables, and I'm going to try to move them all at once. There they go. And now we're going to append them all. We're going to send them to line. Why don't we put a float box under here just so we can see what's happening, just in case anything goes wrong, as it almost always does. You sometimes like to know why. And then I'm going to connect that to the slider's input. So hopefully when we hit a 0, it's going to say 0. It's going to throw 1,000 on the back. It's going to tell that to line. Line's going to go, okay, I'll go to 0 in 1 second. Here we go. Testing. Aha! Now, it jumped to the initial state, which is 1. Did you see that? It jumped up to 1 first and then came down. Now that we're not dealing with that, it probably won't do it anymore. So let's try hitting 1. There it goes, fading all the way up. Dead center, right in the middle. Bonk. Look at that. People, we have made ourselves an X-fader box. You could now have a movie here, and put out a combined movie here. I'm just going to once again stress that in Jitter and Max, you can often put multiple inputs. See right here, we have these 2 patch cords in the same inlet, but never in the same inlet can you put like this patch cord and this patch cord. They don't like it. You don't know what they're going to do, right? Oh, look, oh no, one of them froze. One of them doesn't know what to do anymore. It's a mess. It's just too much data. So the big rule in Jitter, never put 2 video patch cords on the same inlet. Again, you can put 2 on the same outlet. You could even run another one out from here to another P window. But on the same inlet, no, you cannot. Okay? It's a rule. Hey, and with that fabulous rule, that already concludes this excellent tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next tutorial. Have a great day. Patch on.